Magic in the Bronx. Let's talk about it here on the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is once again Monday, May 20th, 2024. This is Titan Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners postgame show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Mariners stun the Yankees and me and Colby and I think the rest of the Mariners fan base tonight. 5-4 win at Yankee Stadium. They rattle off 4 runs in the 9th inning off of Clay Holmes, who entering tonight had not given up an earned run yet this year. If you missed it, Julio with an infield single to get things going. Then Cal Raleigh walked. Luke Raley infield single. He had a 3-for-4 night. Then advances to second on a throwing error, which scores Julio. Mitch Haniger then singles home Raleigh on a bleeder right in front of Judge and Soto. Dom Canzone, who had hit a solo home run earlier, tied things up with a sac fly to left. And then, of course, Ty France pokes a ball through the hole for the go-ahead game-winning RBI single into right field. But Andres Munoz had to face the top of the Yankees order. Pretty scary stuff, but it ended up being pretty fun to watch. He ends up getting Volpe swinging. Then Soto singles, but then Munoz bounces back and gets Judge looking on 101 miles per hour on the corner. Perfect. It's absolutely beautiful stuff. And then he wraps things up by getting Alex Verdugo to ground out to second. Insane ending to a game the Mariners looked like they had no business winning for the first 25 outs, but that's chaos ball, baby. It's Colby. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. It was a lot of fun. For like 10 minutes. The other 2 hours were horrible. You're just waiting for the Yankees to blow this game open, and we're going to talk about how they didn't a little later. But yeah, obviously we're going to talk about that 9th inning right now. It starts with, Josh Rojas hitting the second hardest ball of the entire inning to lead off that inning, and it's an out. And then Julio hits his little chopper over the pitcher. That's what speed does, right? Cal Raleigh gets the walk. Luke Raley hits the ball 80 miles an hour. The ball had an expected batting average of 150. You look up and down. They had one hard hit ball that entire inning.
Yeah,
it was the sac fly that Canzone hit that he thought he had a go ahead grand slam on.
Dave Sims did too.
Well, I mean, Dave Sims thinks everything's a home run,
right.
But like you can't 44-degree launch angle, and you really think you got all that one, Dom? Well, Dom Canzone had a huge home run the inning prior that really kind of gave Seattle hope.
Simsy made my heart fall into my stomach with that call, though.
That's why you got to love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had no hard hit ball. Well, they had one hard hit ball in that inning. It was an out. The second hardest hit ball of that inning was a ground out. The third hardest hit ball of that inning was the Ty France RBI single, game-winning RBI. The Mariners at no point had a ball put in play that had an expected batting average over 430 for that entire. So more often than not, all the balls the Mariners hit tonight would have been outs. And yet tonight they weren't. And this is what we've talked about wanting to see from this offense. Well, yeah, I mean, some BABIP luck is always nice, but get on base, work counts, get a pitch you can hit, put the ball in play, see what happens, right? A ground ball is better than a strikeout. Why? Because a ground ball might find a hole. They might make a mistake on it. They might throw it away. A strikeout requires nothing from the defense, absolutely nothing. So find a way to put the ball in play. And these guys work counts. They got it. All of them got into deep counts. They waited until they got a pitch. They didn't try to do too much. There was no aggressive overswinging or anything like that. It was just keep the line moving, get the next guy up here, and let's just kind of, wolf pack this reliever and let's wear him down. And Clay Holmes has been exceptional all year. And he wasn't really that terrible tonight. It's not like he was getting battered around the ballpark, but the Mariners took walks. They did not chase. They were not going to get him.
When he walked Raleigh, it was like, oh, okay, he doesn't really have the juice tonight. Like something's like a little off there.
Right. And it wasn't though But it's not like, oh, well, he just walked them around the bases and blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, no, the Mariners still had to earn this win. They still had to grind out these at-bats. And the difference is that they just would not chase. They were trying, like Canzone is the only one I remember chasing. And he took a big swing on the first pitch, thinking he was going to get a sinker and tried to end the game. Whatever. Just kind of redial, reload, try again. But they didn't chase against Holmes. They made him get in the middle of the plate. And Holmes is so filthy that even in the middle of the plate, he's really tough to square up. But if you can get into these counts, if you can get him tired, if you can get guys on base and you can keep the pressure on the defense, things like this can happen with some regularity. You don't always have to sit there and hope for the home run, right? You can move the line, get the line moving, and it starts with contact. The Mariners did not strike out in the 9th inning, and that doesn't seem like a big deal. And most of the times it's not. But when you're down by 3, or when you're down by 3 runs, right, and you're just scraping and clawing, you're trying to get the tying run to the plate. That's the whole ball game, right? Get 2 guys on, and then maybe we can tie this game up. You have to be disciplined. You have to put the ball in play. You have to give yourself a shot. The Mariners did that in spades in the 9th inning. Just keep the line moving, quality at bat after quality at bat. Not every quality at bat has to end with you hitting a missile, right?
Yeah.
It's the preferred outcome, certainly.
Right.
But at the end of the day, get on base. Find a way to not make an out
and maintain pressure.
Apply pressure to the pitcher, apply pressure to the defense. And we saw them do. The Yankees cracked a little bit. They made the error. There was a CNI single that they couldn't quite get to. Like, there was pressure on them to make these plays. And once you start to get that first run, and then you kind of tack on the second run, and all of a sudden, hey, there's only one out here. The tying run's on second. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's pressure there. And now everybody kind of grips the baseball a little harder. Holmes tries to throw harder, tries to make even more perfect pitches, and he's throwing more balls. He's falling behind. He has to get into the middle of the plate. This is how you do it, right? Baseball so often is a war of attrition. It's about wearing down your opponent. And that's what the Mariners did tonight. And not only did they get the win tonight, they probably knocked Clay Holmes out of tomorrow's game, and maybe even the game after.
He threw 30 some odd pitches tonight.
Right. So
31.
Baseball so often is about patience and waiting for your moment to strike. Could the Mariners have scored 4 or 5 runs early in this game? I mean, they probably should have. Stroman, I didn't think was exceptional tonight. I thought they made him look a lot better than he actually was, but whatever. But you have to be patient. You have to work counts, and you have to be willing to just take the base hit, like put the ball in play and see what happens. And it's amazing what happens when you're down by 3 as opposed to being down by 1. Everybody's trying to hit the home run, blah, blah, blah. Nope. Just keep the line moving, get the next guy up, get the next guy up. That's the mentality you need to have, particularly when the Mariners and you play half your games at T-Mobile Park, where it's really hard to hit most of the time. Like, tonight was great. Was it like a slugfest? Like, were they just cranking home runs on the Yankees bullpen? No, didn't have to be. It was a grinded out win. And this is the second time now in 3 days that the Mariners have faced, arguably the best team in the American League, gotten into their bullpen, and done damage and win a game that they really had no business winning. That's huge. That is so critical. And it comes tonight because, well, A, the Mariners bullpen, and Logan Gilbert made some huge pitches at the right time. But B, also because they grinded out at bats, and they only did it for 1 inning, and it was enough to win the game.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. So,
against the best team in the American League. In their home ballpark, record-wise, I think it's Baltimore. I think it's Baltimore. Yeah.
I'm not actually all that terrified of the Yankees lineup once you get past 3. So like, it's good, but it's not like, oh man, now I have to face Anthony Rizzo. Like, okay, like sure.
What is this, 2015?
Yeah, it's just like, I don't think the Yankees roster is significantly better than the Mariners, but it sure looked like it and played like it through 8 innings tonight. And the Mariners stole a win. They stole game 1 of a 4-game set.
Huge. Massive.
Huge. Yeah. You have to win 1 of the next 3 to get out of New York with a successful series. If you win 2 of the next 3, holy cow. Like, now the entire narrative of the road trip changes. That's how big winning this first game is. And now you have a little bit of momentum, right? So
this feels like you changed it feels like you changed the entire complexion of this series with the way that things were going. Like, the tone was being set like, oh, the Mariners don't belong tonight. Like, the offense looked lost for most of this game.
It looked like it was heading really quickly to game 1 in Baltimore, where like you just got ambushed in the first inning and you're just like, wow, like the offense isn't going to do anything. And
And
man,
hey,
here we go.
you know, credit where credit is due. Edward Bizzardo holding it down, like he did give up the 1 earned run, but keeping it from snowballing further, or at least keeping the game within reach. But I want to talk about the big dog out of the bullpen some more tonight, Andres Munoz, and also talk about Logan Gilbert's night coming up here in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is brought to you by Policy Genius and Yahoo Finance. Choosing the right life insurance policy is a very important and overwhelming decision, and you want to be able to feel fully confident making that decision. Now you can with Policy Genius, which is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options even offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Plus, your life insurance policy through your work may not offer enough protection for your family's needs. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. Policy Genius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team, and there are thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs through Policy Genius. Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the number one financial destination. yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 5-4 win over the Yankees. They stole Game 1 of this series, and you can catch Game 2 on the Mariners hometown broadcast with SiriusXM via the SXM app tomorrow night. All you have to do to find that is search the word Mariners. So let's talk more about Andres Munoz because he was awesome tonight. Once again, like he continues to be just absolutely filthy out of the bullpen. 101 miles per hour to Judge to get him looking. Just disgusting pitch on the corner. But he also got him swinging twice before that. Like, let's not also like overlook that as well. Like, let's talk about that. Yeah, what did you think about Munoz tonight?
He was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not his best effort.
From one Mr. Colby Patnode.
Not his best effort. I mean, he threw 7 sliders and he only got 3 whiffs on 4 swings, 1 called strike. So, like, I mean, whatever. He left the 2-seamer out there for, for Soto. Like, that's such an easy pitch not to make. Like, you can't make that pitch to Juan Soto very clearly. Pitched 4 inches off the outside corner with a run. Like, you can't make that pitch. Like, what are you doing? You're going to get that by Juan Soto?
That's so annoying. I hate Juan Soto. He's so good.
He's so good. It's so annoying. He's really, really good. But yeah, no, the slider was exceptional tonight. Like I said, 7 sliders of the 15 pitches, 4 swings, 3 whiffs, 1 called strike, 57% called strike plus whiff. Nothing put in play on that pitch. So, and then the sinker was pretty good. I mean, like, he gave up the base hit on the 2-seamer, whatever. It was a pretty good pitch. Juan Soto's like the best hitter on the planet. It happens, but he used it pretty effectively. 5 of those, 2 swings, only 1 whiff, but a called strike, 40% called strike plus whiff. And then the fastball, the 4-seam fastball, he only threw 3. They were 3 absolutely gnarly pitches. The big one to Judge for strike 3. He also ended the game on 101 as well. to Verdugo to get the ground out.
So he was feeling himself tonight.
He was feeling good. The fastball velo, average fastball velo on the year, 98.7. Tonight, the average, 100.6. Now, he only threw 3 of them.
Right.
So, basically, he threw a 100.4. He threw 100.6. And then he threw 100.8 on his 3 4-seam fastballs. Yeah, the 2-seamer topped out at 99. It was also up half a tick. And then the slider was just filthy. He was putting it exactly where he wanted. Very few misfires. He threw 15 pitches.
I don't know what he had for breakfast today or something. Maybe there's something in the New York water. I don't know, but give him more of it.
Is New York water safe to drink? I think so. But I think I remember Munoz missing badly once tonight. Everything else was right where he wanted it. The sequence to Aaron Judge, who, is probably the American League most valuable player right now. If not, he's in the top 3. That is X-rated stuff. That should not be allowed on television. That is slider low and away on the corner, slider low and away on the corner, and then 101 on the outside corner with run, arm side run on a 4-seam fastball. Pure, unadulterated filth. Deadpool would blush watching that at bat. It was filth that. It doesn't get, you can't dominate somebody more than Munoz dominated tonight against Aaron Judge. That's the at bat that all other at bats should be compared to. And right now, Munoz is the closer for the American League All-Star team. I don't think it's close. He had the one blow up in Milwaukee where he walked 4 guys, and then he had a rough luck outing against the Rockies in extras there. But aside from those 2 outings, he has been nails. And look, Munoz isn't perfect. He's going to have an outing where he's going to struggle. He's going to walk guys. He's going to leave a pitch in the middle of the plate. He's going to get got eventually. But what he is right now, and by the way, keep this in mind too, Munoz didn't anticipate pitching tonight. I know we sit there and oh, I'm always ready. No, you're not. When you're down 4-1 in the 8th inning, in the 9th inning, you're not even stretching. You're not even warming up. You're just sitting there well, what am I getting for dinner after this game? And then all of a sudden you have to get up and crank it up really fast. And then by the way, now go face Anthony Volpe, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto and Aaron Judge with a 1-run lead. Don't blow it. We worked really hard to come back and get this miraculous lead. You better not blow it. You have to win this game now. He just went out there and he just shoved. He shoved against, probably the fiercest 1, 2, 3 in baseball right now. The way that those guys are swinging the bat, just shoved. It took Juan Soto being a freak for that not to be a 1, 2, 3 inning. Munoz was exceptional tonight. It's been a continuation. And for the love of God, can we please get the man some help in the bullpen so he doesn't have to do this every freaking win?
It feels like the absence of Matt Brash and Gregory Santos, though, has given Andres Munoz superpowers. I think this is the best we've ever seen Andres Munoz. He is
the one man high leverage option because there are no other high leverage options. It's me. I literally am the last thing. He is Toby, stopping the train from running off the tracks in New York. Very fitting since we're in New York.
That's a good reference.
Yes. From a not very good movie.
From a really good movie.
From a very mediocre movie.
From a top 5 superhero movie of all time.
I mean, it's not as good as Tom Holland keeping the ferry together. That was much better.
No.
But that's what Munoz is right now, right? He is just holding on for dear life, trying to keep the rest of the bullpen from just collapsing in on itself. And he's doing it by getting 5 out saves, by 4 out saves, by getting ready in 35 seconds and then going out there and making Aaron Judge look like a fool. He's been incredible, and his bullpen has absolutely needed it. And by the way, he's been efficient while doing it too. There are very few times where Munoz goes out there and he'll go 4 or 5 outs or whatever. And you're like, well, there's no way he's going tomorrow. Why? He threw 18 pitches.
Yeah. He threw 15 tonight.
I mean, the dude has been nuts. If the Mariners were only going to get one All-Star representative this year, it's Munoz. I don't think anybody else has a case. If you told me they were only going to get one,
right?
Munoz is the one you sent. He is the most deserving by far. Is he their best player? No, but he is the most deserving to be an All-Star so far. Fortunately, I think the Mariners are more than likely going to get more than one All-Star, but you know what I mean? He's been that, he is that guy right now. And at some point, he'll blow up a little bit. That's going to happen. when he does, remember nights like tonight and be like, oh yeah, that's why we keep putting him back out there. He's really good.
Yeah, he's been sensational. And if it wasn't for certain guy that throws 100 miles per hour pretty much every pitch down in Oakland, I think we'd be talking about like Andres Munoz is like the first guy that should be in the American League All-Star bullpen. But he's probably number 2 with the way that he's throwing the ball right now. Like, he's been ridiculous. Speaking of guys that could make the All-Star team, Luke Raley, another good night. 3 for 4 tonight. Batting average up to 311. Technically was responsible for a run driven in, but didn't get the RBI because it was on an error, throwing error. But still, making things happen.
We need to change the way we score errors in this country. That's what's wrong with this country. Baseball scoring.
Right.
That's the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Luke was great tonight, obviously. And Canzone had like 3 awful at-bats, and then he hit a home run, and then he had the game-time sacrifice fly. So, like, technically he had a good night too. Like, I mean, hard to argue against that, right? Even I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, what am I supposed to say?
Balls, yeah.
So, yeah, it was the difference between the first 8 innings and the last inning. I don't know if we've ever seen that steep of a difference before. And by the way, you know what? Let's not forget Cal Raleigh, who threw out 2 base runners, 2 of the fastest guys in baseball. Birdie.
Needed reviews on both of them.
Right. So not a great night but you could see why. Like, I mean, they look safe. They got incredible jumps. Like, I don't think Bizzardo knows how to hold a runner, let alone was trying to. Like, they were just running around the bases on poor Bizzardo. But you know what? He got a big double play. He did give up the 1 run, but he went 1 and 2. He got 5 outs. Right. And at the time, you're like, the way our offense is swinging it, like, why use Stanek? Why use Spire? Like, let's just. And he went out there and he got the big double play.
That's the other thing, too, though, about tonight is, like, you didn't really use anyone outside of Andres, and Andres should still be good to go tomorrow if you need him.
Mm-hmm. Like, Bizzardo's probably down. Snead's probably down. No. Like.
Yeah, but you only use those guys in situations like tonight where you're down by 3 or 4 runs. All right, so I want to talk about Logan Gilbert because he actually pitched in this game. It's probably easy to forget that.
He showed up, sure. He threw pitches in this game, sure.
Sure, we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is brought to you by LinkedIn. Are you struggling to close deals? B2B selling is tougher than ever, and that's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes, or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date, first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with people that matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/locked on. That is linkedin.com/LOCKDON for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/locked on and get started. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 5-4 victory over the New York Yankees. You can catch Game 2 of the series tomorrow night on the Mariners hometown broadcast of SiriusXM via the SXM app. All you have to do to find that is search the word Mariners. So let's talk about Logan Gilbert, who went 6 innings in this one, gave up 3 earned runs, including 2 in the first inning. He only struck out 1 batter, walked 1 as well, and gave up quite a few hard hit balls. So not a great night for Gilbert, who also allowed 8 hits in this game. What did you make of his night?
Very, very mediocre. Wasn't missing a ton of bats, as you all know. The 1 strikeout, not always a good indicator, but in this case it was. 13% whiff rate tonight.
Yikes.
Only a 22% called strike plus whiff.
Yikes.
Gave up 9 hard hit balls. Only walked 1, but he also hit a guy. He had to make some really big pitches to get some key double plays, and he did. Give him credit for that. The one thing that he was able to do that Miller and Kirby weren't exactly able to do, although it pretty similar idea, is that like Logan got jumped on early and then he managed, right? He kind of, it was kind of a blend of the Bryce Miller and Luis Castillo start, where like, yeah, they got jumped on early. He didn't have his best stuff, but he managed. He didn't miss a ton of bats, but he was trying really hard to stay out of the zone. And he had to make a couple big pitches to keep the game within reach for the Mariners offense. And he did. He only threw 81 pitches today in 6 innings. So once again, we're seeing the same game plan being used essentially against all 5 Mariners starters, which is hunt the fastball early in the count. He's going to throw strikes, put the ball in play. And it works because the Mariners do throw a ton of first pitch strikes and they throw a lot of fastballs. So, that's something Brian Wu will have to contend with tomorrow. And I mean, Brian Wu kind of only has a fastball. So we'll see. Also, arguably, Brian Wu's best start of his entire career was in Yankee Stadium. So we'll see how all that goes. But Logan tonight was grinding. The entire game was a grind for Gilbert. Nothing was ever really that easy. He never really found his best stuff, never really found any of his pitches with any kind of like regularity. He threw 23 sliders tonight. He got 14 swings on the slider and he only got 1 whiff. Like, yeah, not great.
Yeah.
The splitter wasn't very good today. Although the spin on the splitter was way down. The average spin on his split finger today, 582 RPM. Like, that might be honestly not enough. Like, yeah, he only threw it 8 times. Cutter, he just didn't have any feel for, really. Although ironically, he did get 2 called strikes on that pitch on 8 of them. But yeah, I mean, he just didn't really have anything. He just, every time he tried to go to something, he would bounce it or he would throw it wide. Like, he wasn't very good. Tonight was, grinded out Logan Gilbert. Now, again, to his credit, this could have gotten ugly really fast like it did in Minnesota. Yeah. And he kind of found a way to pitch through. And that's what really good pitchers do. When they don't have their best stuff, they manage a lineup and they try and kind of piece it together. And even then, like, they're still vulnerable to get hit, but then they make the big pitch and they get the double play they need, or they get the big strikeout they need, or whatever. And tonight he was able to do that. And the Mariners, I think they induced 3 bases loaded double plays in tonight's game.
Yep, they did.
Which is huge.
Actually, I think one of them was with runners on the corners, but whatever.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Yes. But still, like, if any of those runs score, you lose. Like, you're out. So it was huge of the Mariners tonight. All of them except for Munoz, who just didn't really have. I mean, Pizarro probably has it. He's just not that good. But he got the big double play. He cleaned up Snead's mess. And it was just kind of a continuation where everything about tonight's game was just a grind. It was just exhausting. And Gilbert only threw 81 pitches in 6 innings. And it's like, oh, could he have gone 7? Probably. Right. But those 81 pitches were all stressful pitches because he just didn't really have any easy innings. So I think Logan was mediocre at best tonight. But the fact that he was able to do that in Yankee Stadium and only give up 3 runs, like, that shows what kind of like big game pitcher mentality Logan Gilbert has, where, yeah, you know what? I didn't have my best stuff tonight, but I refuse to let this snowball like it did in Minnesota. Like, I'm going to keep my team in this game. And he did. So you have to give him credit for that.
Yeah. Love that. Love the way you put it. All right. That is going to do it for our show. Before we get out of here, a reminder that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Ty Dane Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Ty Dane Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. Have yourself a beautiful baseball evening, and we'll see you next time. Peace.